This is where we keep our extra feed. We pick up our feed once a month.
I'd rather be working on vehicles and making money, but...
And ever since I've been a veterinarian 37 years ago, that hasn't changed.
So what made you start horse rescuing?
I'm gonna skip that.
It's not much, but we would like to present this check to you.
Oh my God.
We are going to Ponytail's Refuge and Rehab. They applied for a $10,000 Full Circle of Life grant in mentoring, and they're in the top 2. And we are going in to decide if we do like their organization.
We get to go see their faculty today, and we get to go meet the volunteers. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've worked with them several times before. They've always seemed like a great organization. And we'll see what happens today. It'll be great meeting their volunteers and checking out their facility.
I'm excited to meet the horses.
Yeah, meet the horses. Yep, absolutely.
If they win, they're wanting to use the grant to build a barn, isn't it?
They've already raised $5,000, and they're saying if they win the $10,000 grant, that it'll really help them build a barn. I talked to their vet, and their vet said that because the winters are so harsh up here in Wisconsin, that an indoor facility would really help out their organization.
Hi, baby. Hello. So good to see you again.
You too.
This is Peyton.
Oh,
hi, nice to meet you.
I
And
have pretty bad allergies right now.
I'm sorry. Me too. I was excited to be at Ponytails. I'd never seen their facility before. I found it interesting how 2 businesses could be operating on the same property. You know, one with cars and one with horses. And I wanted to see, you know, how does that all mix together? How are they doing this? What I found was Nate is an awesome guy who puts up with a lot, having horses literally led through his shop. Cindy, you know, has a small corner in the barn where that's her corner for Ponytails. One of the vehicles there at the property was actually where they store the grain and feed because they don't have a barn.
This is where we keep our extra feed. We pick up our feed once a month. We have a dealer that brings it from the cities. So we have to store a lot of it at a time, a month's worth at a time. And there's more in the middle seat, in the front seat.
And that's pretty much just because, I mean, you have no barn to put it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Storage, stuff we use a lot, but we can't, a lot of stuff I keep up in the house garage.
And you don't have a barn to put it in.
Yeah, I can't put
your
the
own
stuff out in the
separate
barn, especially like in the winter.
Yeah.
And this is our feed bins here, keep the rodents out.
Yeah.
So there's a feed, and then dewormers.
So this is pretty much where all your tack is kept at right now.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
And this barn that we're in, you share with your husband, who does
Yeah.
the auto repair.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a busy, successful business.
That's awesome.
So when I get to the barn, we wade through this.
All right.
Here's the barn. Okay.
Hey guys.
Hi, babies.
This is Maya and Lorraine. She's a little more scared of people yet, but Maya is very friendly. They're orphans. These guys are both, probably about 4 months old now.
So what made you start horse rescuing?
I'm gonna skip that.
When we asked Cindy why she started Ponytail, she was reluctant to say. And I needed to get to the bottom of that because why you start an organization is the passion that drives the organization. So at the very beginning with Ponytails, there was a special horse.
Yeah. I was following on Facebook. It was just a Facebook rescue. And I'd actually done a will, and all our animals are going to this rescue if I die.
Yes.
And she was closing her doors for the winter was September. And there were 3 horses that had to go free. And one of them was a one-eyed Arabian, a little 2-year-old. And I was just like, who's going to take a 2-year-old one-eyed Arabian, you know? And I love Arabians, or possibly my...
They're beautiful.
Yeah, and so I called her up, and you know, she's ready her intentions. I mean, she's very careful about where they were going, but she let me come and get them. And the funny part of the story that ends up not being funny, but this was on a Friday. The next night, some friends of ours got married, and we were at the reception, and I was dancing, and I dislocated my kneecap, my left kneecap that night. Ended up in the emergency room and ended up in a big leg immobilizer and crutches, and I was supposed to go pick him up the next morning at 8 o'clock. And we still went. We still went and got him. And that's Kirby.
It's his picture. Can I bring his picture over?
Yeah. And a few days later, I ended up with a blood clot in that leg. That they thought was from the immobilizer. And it turned out it was cancer. So then I spent like the next over a year treating, and I didn't really get to spend much time with him at all. And I just kept thinking about him. How I was supposed to be helping him, and I couldn't, and I was failing him, letting him down. And but I got better.
Yes.
And he was here, you know, everyone helped take care of the horses. But in the meantime, when I was treating, it didn't go well at all for me. And
So right now, Cindy, the founder of Ponytails, is talking with Tawnee on why she started. She had so much that she had planned, and then she found out she had cancer. That turned her world upside down, but she didn't let it stop her. Her big dream of becoming a lawyer instantly turned into she wanted to help save and rescue horses. All of that happened because of one horse that came into her life and changed it. And because of that one horse, she is now a horse rescue hero.
When Ponytails signed up for the Full Circle of Life grant, I had no idea that Cindy started the organization, you know, from the special horse Kirby, but that she had cancer and was fighting cancer.
I was, at the time I had been in law school. I was studying to be a lawyer, and I didn't want that anymore. I just wanted to be with him and help more horses like him. And so yeah, before I was done treating, we had started Ponytails. And,
wow.
But then he got really sick a couple years ago, and but yeah, so then they called and said he was doing pretty good and keep him on this medication. We brought him home, and 2 days later he was. And we sent him for necropsy and nothing.
Wow. What do you think some of the biggest challenges are for you here at your facility?
At the facility itself? You know, financing obviously is always an issue. As a nonprofit.
Making a barn. A barn.
The barn is.
Sure. So tell us about the barn. How big would it be? And
I want 10 stalls. Just because, like right now, I mean, we average like 40 to 50 horses, and we can fit like 1/10 of them into the barn, which means it really limits the horses we can take in.
Yeah.
Because if we can't bring them into a barn and they need to be in a barn, we can't take them.
Not only do you repair vehicles like this truck, but what else happens in this shop?
She gets in the way with the horse stuff.
So how does that affect your business?
It slows us down if we got to work around things that need to be brought in. If the hay gets brought in, then we got to clean up all the, you know, the hay chaff, the mess that makes, and we got to bring the truck in unloaded because it has to come through here, show the way into the barn.
You're both running 2 completely separate businesses at the same shop. What's some of the concerns? What's some of the struggles with that?
My time ends up being used to take care of horses sometimes, and I'd rather be working on vehicles and making money, but I have to help her do it, just the way it is.
And Cindy, what's some of your concerns with sharing your feed and tack room with a fully functioning garage?
I worry about, like we talked about a little bit, there's a lot of chemicals in here. I never
Vehicles
know.
running.
Vehicles running, I mean, especially in the winter when we have to have the doors shut. I get a little worried about carbon monoxide, stuff like that.
Sometimes we have to bring horses through here, small ones. And that's probably not real safe either.
The path for the minis.
Although I do believe that the horses at Ponytails are being very desensitized by being led through a garage with cars up on hydraulics and stuff. It's not the ideal situation. They need a barn.
Take care of me and my fragile heart. It's yours to keep, but it can break apart. I'll take care of you and all of your hopes. Hold them in my hands while we learn the ropes. Because my love is here to stay. Nothing could chase it away. And you are the keeper I'm needing to keep all my dreams.
Duchess was a quarter horse that we rescued from an animal neglect case. She came with multiple other pregnant mares, and she herself was pregnant, and we didn't know how much she was trained, so we just let her have her baby, and then once the baby was weaned, we evaluated her, and it was about a week before Horse Plus Humane Society came to see us that I had evaluated Duchess. We thought she had probably just been a brood mare for many years and had lots of babies, but I threw a saddle on her and I was riding her and it was amazing. She was really broke. She was beautiful.
One organization that doesn't win is getting $500. It's not much, but we would like to present this check to you.
Oh my.
One thing that we need to talk about, and it's extremely important, and I've suffered from it, I've seen a lot of people suffer from it, is compassion fatigue.
Yes.
I mentioned the word compassion fatigue, and I instantly saw just pain and tears starting to form in Cindy's face. She is suffering from compassion fatigue, and if we can't help her, this organization will close down completely. It's real, and I can see it in your face when I said it. It is so real. Compassion fatigue is the #1 killer of horse heroes that are out there, because we see something, we want to help, and we pour ourselves into it. Unless there's that drive that keeps us amazingly going somehow, most people that get into becoming a horse rescue or animal rescue or anything, within 3 to 5 years, they're burnt out, they're gone, because they are burnt out.
It's always hard when the killer buyer comes. First time with Dana that he actually brought horses that were in really bad shape. It was hard for me to keep it together. It's still hard.
If you can't delegate responsibilities off to other people and trust those people to do a good job in that responsibility, and you're doing everything yourself, you're worrying about it all day long. You go to bed, you're worrying about it until you go to sleep. As you're going to sleep, you're like, oh, that water trough, I left it going. Oh no, I need to go turn it off. Everything in your life is focused on that organization. You wake up, and first thing in your mind is that. And you lose who you are because that organization consumes you, because we see so many horrible things and we want to help so hard that we will burn out and not be able to help any animals that we want to help.
Capone was a horse that I adopted from the one-day surrender event 2 years ago that Horse Plus Humane Society put on here in Wisconsin. When I first saw him, I was immediately attracted to his eyes because they're quite different. So I adopted him from Ponytails after that surrender event, and he has turned out to be the most amazing horse. I can put absolutely anybody on him. He is a big lover, and I just love riding him. So he will be with my family forever.
We're at Colfax Animal Hospital, and we're meeting Cindy, so we can talk to her vet and go over rescue topics and shelter things. I needed to talk to the veterinarian with Cindy so we could establish what the actual medical intake cost would be for a horse.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Hello. I'm Tawnee with Horse Plus Humane Society.
I'm Bruce Buckley.
Peyton Christian.
Hi, Peyton.
Jason Preisner, nice to meet you, sir.
Hi, Jason. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. You have a great office here.
All right,
Small, but we like it. Yeah, the question of buying a daughter, a pony, or a horse, and then 2 years later they give up on it, that's been ever since I've been a veterinarian 37 years ago. That hasn't changed.
You were telling me that you don't charge her an arm and a leg for your services?
Well, yeah, what we do is we charge 10% above the cost of the medicines and vaccines and lab work, and then volunteer the time.
Hello. Hi. So we need to go over some cost on what things cost for the vet procedures to do for Cindy, so we can help make a budget for her.
Okay. For the rescue, we donate our time, so we don't charge them a trip charge.
That's amazing. You're so lucky.
Yeah. And so then any professional fees like the treatments and that sort of thing, that we do those as our donation too. So we're really just charging for like any lab tests that we're doing, any materials that we're using and that sort of thing. If, you know, he's doing like a gelding, same thing, he donates the professional fee for the gelding. So it's just your medications, your anesthesias, so, you know, $4 or $5 really for the anesthesias itself. Then we usually also vaccinate those for the 4-way for sure, just to get the tetanus in. Yeah. Yep, and then West Nile too, because that's usually what Cindy is doing. Penicillin, then usually a dose of that associated with the surgery. So there you're looking at probably around $40 or so.
These prices are amazing. I'm envious.
Yeah, Dr. Buckley is very generous. So
on our website, we put up the Full Circle of Life grant. What made you decide to apply for that?
We love the idea of the open door shelters. Obviously, we participated in that a couple of years when I was here in Wisconsin. And just the whole concept of what Horse Plus does, just so no questions asked, surrender. I think it really helps a lot of horses who just need, you know, a peaceful end, and a lot of owners who can't do it themselves, won't do it themselves.
With this program, we're wanting to mentor and help an organization learn, you know, how can they do it on their own? Because, you know, I was 19 when I started Horse Plus, and we've been doing it, and it's totally feasible. It's just learning the tools to make it work. So are there any concerns with the Full Circle Life philosophy, kind of going into it? Because if you did win this grant, you'd be piloting a Full Circle of Life for 6 months, and then deciding, you know, is this a philosophy that you want to continue down the road?
I guess the only concern we really have is, you know, what kind of volume are we looking at?
One thing that's a big concern with all rescues we talk to and what we hear is they can't become an open admission shelter because they're going to get swamped with horses. And, you know, if an organization is managed properly, you can be an open admission shelter, not turning horses away. So after looking around and talking to everyone, we're 100% almost confident that we were going to give the grant to Ponytails, but we can definitely see the need is huge, and we're going to award them the check. But it's a little difficult because there's so many of the volunteers here, and we're going to just take them all into a section of the barn that's off of the garage and tell them we want a group picture. So, y'all do an amazing job, and I was real happy when I saw that you guys applied, because it's like, oh yeah, Ponytails is a great one. But as you know, there's 2 organizations, and choosing is hard. And one organization that doesn't win is getting $500. It's not much, but we would like to present this check to you.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone! Yeah.
Horse Plus Humane Society is now offering a grant. I'm gonna cry.
It's a $10,000 grant.
So we can continue to take in these horses, no questions asked.
There's another organization. Ponytails is in the top 2.
We're in the top 2.
Just really huge. Out of all the organizations in the United States, your organization here in your community is the one we chose. You are definitely the winners. Your organization here in your community is the one we chose to come up and look. So come on out. So Ponytails is the winner. They're not just in the top 2, they are the winners.
Ponytails is a great organization. I just hope through the next 6 months of mentoring that they will take the tools that we're giving them and apply them. I think a lot of the struggle that's going to happen is that Cindy can learn to delegate, because if she can't, the organization's not going to survive. Nate and Cindy are such amazing people. You know, for Nate to be having a horse rescue operate in his mechanic shop is, you know, it shows what type of guy he is. You know, I think we can help them so much, you know, with fundraising and shelter procedures, but we've never mentored another organization like this before. We're doing 6 months of mentoring with them, so we can only hope that they'll take everything that we're giving them and apply it to their organization. Fundraising, I know they can get more donations. They just need to, you know, like put those Facebook donate buttons on. And if they do these things that I'll be telling them, I think they'll succeed. The other option is, you know, Cindy, I think she has compassion fatigue. I mentioned the word and there's tears welling up in her eyes. It could be that it's too late for this organization. So many founders burn out within 3 to 4 years. I just hope we've reached Ponytails in time and we can help them through mentoring, because without the founder, they're not going to have an organization. And there's so many organizations, horse rescues across the United States. They get started, they're excited, and they try and they work super hard, harder than they've ever worked before in their life. And then there's just no funding. You know, they constantly turn horses away. There's nothing worse than being a horse rescuer and getting those calls, I have this horse, I have to get rid of it. It just breaks my heart, but can you take it? And you're like, no, I can't. And then later you go to an auction and you see that horse being sold to a kill buyer and loading up on a kill trailer. And, you know, if we can help Ponytails and mentor them through this 6 months, they can become a full circle alive horse rescue and save thousands of horses. So it's going to be a journey.